I'm Morgan and welcome to my YouTube channel. I feel like YouTube as a platform is something that I've always wanted to hop on and be a part of, even with the rise of TikTok and Instagram Reels and this other shorter form media. I feel like I've always shied away from being in front of the camera. I'm very comfortable behind the camera, helping other people shine. And I think just having a camera on me sometimes makes me a little bit nervous. But I'm happy to be here and we're finally doing it. So thanks so much for being a part of the journey. As the channel progresses, I'm probably going to try out different formats, different locations, who knows. But for now, I'm realizing that I really just have to start. I really just have to do it or I'm never going to. And I feel like that's something that can be said for a lot of parts of my life. I'm a big dreamer. I have big dreams. I have exciting ideas. But when it comes to executing those dreams, sometimes I do a fabulous job going for it, doing it, getting it done. Other times, I feel like I have thousands of dreams, so many, that I do precisely zero of them because I'm going back and forth like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll write a book, maybe I'll go and be a fashion model in New York. Maybe I'll make a movie. Maybe I'll write a screenplay. But whenever I would start to think about that, I would get overwhelmed by the idea, overwhelmed by the big picture and the end result that I'm tying the dream to, instead of just being diligent on the baby steps to get there. So that's what this channel is going to be about. The day-to-day and the journey and the small steps that get you to big, cool places. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Morgan Taylor. All that I said about those dreams, I've lived a lot of them. I feel like I haven't really done a great job at anything in my life, but it's because it takes the little steps to get there. I'm Morgan Taylor. I own a marketing firm. So I have a marketing business that specializes in web development. I'm a web developer. I make WordPress websites. That's my day-to-day job. I work for myself, which is super cool. Can be flexible. Get to work with a lot of cool people and helping businesses shine online, in front of a camera, in front of their audience to get the right people in. I'm also a documentary filmmaker. I was an associate producer and editor on a feature-length documentary about a Holocaust survivor. That's on Amazon Prime. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like. I'm also working on another documentary where I'm a co-producer, and it's a completely different story. Rock and roll history type of story. It's super, super cool, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So I make movies as part of a job that I have. I'm also a model. I'm a former beauty queen. I was Miss New Jersey, United States a few years back, and that was such a dream. I feel like my closet is full of beautiful sparkly dresses that I just need an occasion to wear again. Whenever I'm feeling down about myself, I go back to that. There's this meme that says, could a depressed person do this? When I'm feeling like a worm, it's like, could a worm do this? Could a worm do this? I don't think a worm can do this. So that's something that boosts me back out of the dark places. I was former beauty queen. I'm also a model now. I have agents in New York City. I get to go to New York Fashion Week, and I was just in Chicago for a fashion show. Sometimes I travel for that, and I just love it. I love being able to get dressed up and have a fun time with the girls and make a living off of that. So that's something that I do. I wrote a poetry book quite recently. This summer, I wrote a poetry book and I published it. And so I'm now a published author of poetry. If you want to read it, that's also on Amazon. It's kind of magical how you can order something and it can be at your house in like 2 days. But I can put the link to that as well if you'd like. Comment and ask me about it. I'd love to share it with you. As I'm forming this YouTube channel and trying to make it into something, I landed on this idea of fearing less and living boldly. Because everything that I've done in my life, I feel like I've been holding back. Like I could do more if I weren't afraid So how about, even if you're afraid, do it anyway. Don't let fear stop you. Chase those hard dreams. You never know what you're going to land on, what you're going to get. So go after it, apply for jobs you're not qualified for and see what happens. You'll be surprised. People talk about energy and law of attraction. There's a reality to it. I haven't really dove into it myself, but I think it's definitely something to be explored. This channel is not going to be like, look at me, I'm all great, here's all the things I'm doing. I want to share what I'm up to. But I also want to bring you behind the scenes. For example, I'm the host of the podcast Women in Film Project, which is amazing because it's highlighting women in all roles on film sets, whether they're an actress in the director's chair, running electricity, being gaffers and grips, audio engineers, music composers, all the elements that are often not paraded out in front. Those important roles in film, and highlighting women in those roles and hearing their stories, talking about the projects that they're working on. So I love being a part of that podcast. The first interview that I ever did, I was so nervous. I was having so much anxiety going into that interview. And I think a lot of things, when you're afraid, you can choose to be like, oh, I'm going to cancel it. No, I'm not going to do it. I think accountability really helps with that. Because if you have something on your calendar or somebody else, you're probably going to end up doing it because someone is counting on you. That helps you press forward. So I think I want to be the type of channel that shows the reality. I want to share my stories, but also just know if you're ever struggling with that, let's hold each other accountable, right? Even when life is messy or hard, you can rest, take care of yourself. You don't want to get burnt out, but when it's time to go for it, go for it. So I think that's the kind of things I want to emulate with my life and with this channel. I would speculate that this channel is going to end up being about personal growth and entrepreneurship. And really it's about chasing your dreams and going after things and finding that you have to work on the internal environment. A lot of people who attain what they're reaching for, they're not happy when they get it. Like that's a concept too that you hear about a lot. So I think this is like the heart to heart of the behind the scenes and that internal walk that reflects the external, what everybody else sees, right? This year when I was at New York Fashion Week, it was so cool. I was wearing designer at the red carpet and parties and hanging out with all kinds of stars and cool people. But something funny that I reflect on, something I was really excited about that week, was that I bought meal prep containers because I wanted to start taking care of myself and making sure that I ate. And I've been learning how to cook. I think there is this dichotomy where the public sees one thing, but we're all people. They say social media is the highlight reel. If you see someone's highlight reel, just know that there's other stuff going on. This year I struggled so much in the realm of health, and that's not something that I share publicly at all. Humanizing the journey is important to me. Not to say that I'm a celebrity by any stretch of that term, but I think when you look up to somebody, even if it's a family member, you sometimes can forget that they're human and that they struggle and that they're on a journey too. We're all on the same journey. We're all at different paths in that journey. And I think we can encourage one another in that. Food for thought. You don't have to be fearless to do that journey. A lot of times I was waiting to not be afraid to go after something. If you're not careful, you're going to wait forever. I want to kind of flip that and do it afraid. Instead of waiting until you're perfect to put something out. Like I published that poetry book. I still haven't shared it with a lot of my friends and family. And this might be you holding me accountable, right? I'm going to try to do that maybe this week. It frightens me because I feel like I could do better or it could have been more perfect. I had a goal of putting out the poetry book with 50 poems. I felt like 50 poems was a good sort of round number for a collection. Thematically, they all tie together and tell a story. But I was aiming for 50 poems. I was sitting on 49 poems for the longest time. Like, I want to put this out there, but I feel like I need one more. And I came to this conclusion that even in having 49 poems, I think that's a beautiful thing. I was like, it's not perfect because it's not 50. So I'm going to publish it not perfect. It could have been more good. But really, 49 poems, what an accomplishment. I have to stop and think and remind myself and celebrate and be grateful for what I did and what I put together. In everything that you do, just want to remind myself and those listening, you don't have to be fearless to take the next step. You just take the next step, and then the next step after that will show itself to you. It makes me think of the leap of faith from Indiana Jones. And you can sprinkle dirt on it and know this is the way that I'm going. It's going to turn into something, right? But really, you just have to start with every journey. It's the first step. So this is my first step, putting the YouTube channel together. I'm going to allow it to kind of mold into what it may, right? I'm hesitant to slap a title like this is called Live Boldly with Morgan. But, you know, it might turn into sort of like inspirational podcasty stuff. It might turn into something else. But for now, I'm here, and follow along for the journey. If you know me, if you like me, please follow. If you don't know me and you want to be a part of the journey, thank you for being here. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment. I'd love to hear more about you, and I'll see you in the next one.